Oh, this is episode 60 with Zaid Osman.
It's the switch up, baby.
All right, what to do? It's your boy DJ Switch, the Mixtape King. If you don't know, now you know. This is about up and coming artists. Sometimes we're gonna have some people that's been like OGs in the game, and we're trying to push everything, all the elements of the culture itself, from the music to the fashion, to the entrepreneurship of it all. And yeah, man, make sure you like, subscribe, and let us know who you'd like to see on the show. Let us know who should be on the show. Let us know what clothing brands you want to see. Yeah, man, we're coming to live from AMP Studios. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the interviews. Let us know. But we're going to dive straight into it. All the way from Kaapstad, Zaid Osman.
Yes,
My
sir.
man.
What's going on?
Bro,
What's happening?
yo, this is like the guy, the originator of like the sneaker reselling game. Bro, what a journey.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
And I
it's been a
mean,
journey.
you started brands, some brands have failed, or maybe not just failed, they just sort of stopped, and then you restarted it again, and now you're here, the owner of co-founder of Sneak Exchange and owner of Great Africa.
Yes, sir.
Right? So
Yes,
Great
sir.
Town is coming to Joburg on the 16th of June.
Yeah.
But we're gonna backtrack a little bit. Let's go back to your reselling days
Yeah,
out
for
in
sure.
Cape Town. I mean, you yourself, Hesky, Rolo. There was a bunch of you guys. I don't know
Yeah.
if it was under the brand Bitches Must Know. What were you guys before then? I mean, how did this thing start for you? Since
Nah, bitches must know that was Hayden.
right? Oh
And
yeah,
that
Hayden
was,
as well. Yeah.
That was Paul and a chick Nikki St. Bruce. But
Yeah.
like for me, it was Lost Property. That was
Yeah.
always what I was pushing. And as much as I guess it was kind of reselling, we never really looked at it like that. It was really bringing access into the market.
Sure.
The stuff that we were bringing, whether it was up tempos, griffies, and like all of these old school bubbles that Cape Town loves, this stuff wasn't available in the country.
Yeah.
So it's not like we were just going to a store locally and buying it out and reselling it at
Yeah.
higher prices.
Yeah.
It was cool. People want these type of shoes because they're seeing it in music videos, they're seeing dudes in the hood rocking it on the block or whatever. And we had an opportunity to be able to import this type of shoes from the States. So
Sure.
that's kind of why it happened. And it was really about like bringing this new type of product into the market because
Yeah.
people would see it, but they would have no access to it.
Sure.
And yeah, so I mean, it wasn't really reselling. It was always like about that necessity of like people wanting something that they can't get, and we were kind of the plugs to be able to make that happen.
Yeah. I mean, like, when it started, I mean, everybody, and like exactly like you're saying, like, because when I was growing up, I was looking for sneakers that I couldn't find. And like you said, it would always be in music videos or it would just never land in South Africa because there was no demand. And you guys sort of created a demand for this kind of market. And, if you create that demand, all these sneaker companies or all these, apparel companies start, increasing the supply. And I think, you guys just made it cool by, doing certain things, moving from that to like, sneaker exchange. Shout out to Tibbs as well, who was also the co-founder with you, where now people can come and those who have those, unique, exclusive sneakers can now resell them to people who are looking for them. Obviously, with a small bit of gains on them, to make it sort of like a business.
Yeah.
Let's go into, how you start labels and what is the formula for it, because you started Lost Property, made it a merchandise thing, and also you've done certain collabs we're going to speak about. And, people want to start like a clothing label, whether it be a t-shirt brand, a cap brand, or whatever brand. What is the formula? What is the source for it to actually survive in South Africa?
I mean, I guess it's like different ways of doing it, and I mean, I'm not necessarily saying my way is right or
Sure.
it's wrong, but I mean, I have experience in doing it. So for me, I always just tell people like, yo, just start somewhere, start by, buying those blank t-shirts wherever it is and start printing those designs, because with that, you're going to have concepts that you're going to come up with. And
Sure.
once you are able to kind of articulate concepts that are in your mind onto a physical garment or onto like a physical item, that's when you can really see that, okay, cool, there can be some type of progression, because, it's like, okay, cool, this is step one and step two
Yeah.
of, kind of printing a T-shirt or something, you know.
Yeah.
As you go, your quality will get better, everything will get better. But then it's like, okay, cool. Like, look at your immediate community and like how you can sell to them, you
Yeah.
know, how you can really just give them something unique that they're gonna want, or always sell like a lifestyle. You know,
Yep.
if you look at it like, how does this product make me feel when I wear it?
Sure.
You know, does it make me feel like I'm a part of something? Like, so what are you ultimately pushing? Like,
Yo.
um,
Hitting us with the bars right now,
yeah,
man.
100%, bro.
Yo.
Like, I think
And
that's a
and I mean, like you've had a very close relationship with South African artists, right? And I mean, at one point, and always when it comes like to December time, because I know you're hustling, you're building a business, you're selling sneakers, so you invite everybody to the storage room out in Cape Town. And I remember one year, and that's when I think the Gammas just dropped the Concords,
yeah,
the Gamma Concords, and it's like you're like inviting him, like, no, come to the store. I'm like, where's the store? Nah, just here's the store, here's the location,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's like it's in a storage unit
yeah,
because you didn't have. I mean, that's so brilliant because you didn't have enough money to have like a shop space,
yeah,
but you've also got a secure space where you're keeping all
yeah.
your stock.
Yeah, that one was crazy, and we called that the secret store. And I remember that was probably
Yeah.
like, yo, could have even been 2013 or
Yeah, yeah,
2014,
yeah,
somewhere there, 2015 even, because I was mad young.
yeah.
And again, before that, like everything was at my parents' house in the lounge, you
Yeah.
know. So I was like, oh shit, I kind of need a place to put everything, you know,
Correct.
because at that time, again, I'm selling to a lot of artists. These guys are coming
Yeah.
into Cape Town. It's
Yeah.
like, yo, I can't just go take everyone to my parents' house or whatever, you know?
Exactly. You also, invading your parents'
Yeah,
privacy.
bro, like in the lounge, like, yo. And that was crazy because, like, literally we had, like, everyone come into that space, you know? Like,
Yo, I was there. I got me them cameras out there.
100%, bro. Like, and the way it was set up was so crazy because it was literally a storage unit. I think I got some like wooden floors, put it on the floor, made it look nice. Took the wooden floors, took like a nail into the wall and made from the wooden shelf, like the laminated floors,
Yep.
made that the shelf. So like had like brackets on the wall to put the
That's
shoes
wild.
on, and it was crazy, bro. We had everyone like. Casper pulling up, like
Yeah.
AKA pulled up, like Delez, Luiso Gola, like Okay Malum Cool Cat,
Yeah,
like literally
yeah.
everyone was in that space,
And,
bro.
and the crazy thing is like every time everybody just wants to know, yo, where you getting this stuff? Nah, you gotta see this guy. His name is Zaid Osman in Cape Town. So when you're there, hit him
Yeah.
up, And it's like only by appointment you can come into that store.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then like I guess also with that, like, you know, no one wants to like let their plug loose. You know, it's like, where did
Yeah.
you get this? I got a plug in Cape Town.
Sure,
You know,
sure.
it's like, okay, cool. Like, but yeah, that was a really dope era.
Yeah.
I think we really kind of, you know, pushed the boundary for that. And also I think from that whole lost property, because lost property started, yeah, with importing the kind of like rare kind of shoes, streetwear, all of that type of stuff into the market, created that. And then I think like a few months or a year later opened like the first actual physical space in
Yeah.
Cape Town.
Yeah.
And then I think it just kind of like that whole market kind of just became very saturated. And
Yeah.
I got to a point where I was like, cool, like, you know, you're at the forefront of this whole thing. Like you really paved the way for,
Sure.
I guess, the secondary market within sneakers within South Africa. And with that, you're like, okay, cool. Now there's so many people doing this,
it,
you know,
yeah.
do you kind of, you know, compete with them and like play within that same market? And then I was like, wait, man, I don't want to continuously resell or sell other people's brands.
Right.
Like I want to create something that people are gonna go as crazy for as they're going for those items, but for my actual product or my actual idea and IP in my head.
Correct.
So yeah, that's kind of then where like all of the lost property kind of stuff transitioned into Grade. Well, I guess before Grade was Sneaker Exchange, so that was kind of like the full on convention where you would literally mash up the whole culture, because although Sneaker Exchange was started, I guess, solely focused on sneakers and sneaker trading, it kind of evolved into this whole street cultural kind of festival, because we would incorporate live performances, we would incorporate stuff like talks, games, like all of these type of stuff within the space, where it became like a bigger community that we're pushing, you know. So then you have you're really becoming like this youth cultural type space, because you're creating stuff that the youth is messing with, you know. And then it's crazy because now, like, from an event organizer type space, yes, you're very much involved in the curation and, like, you know, getting the vendors, getting all of this type of stuff on board, but then you're almost moving that into now brands are hitting you up for this audience,
Right.
and that was the thing for me.
Shout out to you, man. I mean, like, yo, I mean,
Yeah.
just sorry to cut you there. I think, it's just so while I have you here, is that you've now created this, supply and demand scenario.
Yeah.
Where they come into you, and a lot of people want to get into that space.
Yeah.
And just like you said, you're at the forefront, and you got to break away from the resellers. And shout out to your team, man. Shout out to Biggie. Shout out to Imi. Shout out to all the homies that have been supporting Lost Property. You know what I mean? I mean, you did the collab with AKA. Shout out to RIP to him as well. And I mean, you did a collab with him. Just before he started also just blowing. I mean, he was big already, but I mean, just because they know that Zaid is the plug for anything to do with clothing, with anything to do with culture. And I mean, a lot of people wanted to be at Sneak Exchange. I mean, for myself, I was into even into the reselling. And with the other, shout out to Josh. We'd have our own setup. We'd also sell sneakers. And this was a really great platform for local brands to actually launch themselves into a space, because a lot of resellers were looking for spaces, and they knew that this was the sneaker convention you'd want to go to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then obviously, everything else, with the vendors coming in, the artists coming in, and you really built it up. I mean, you went as far as going to Dubai as well.
Yeah. We did some pop-ups there
Yeah.
in Dubai with Sneaker Exchange. We did something in Lagos. We did something in Nairobi.
Yo.
So it was just
Namibia as well.
so just trying to like move around into like different territories and really like spread this, but yeah, I mean, the Dubai stuff was really cool from a Sneaker Exchange perspective, but even more so now from like a grade perspective, going into these territories with like an actual tangible product that's yours, and seeing how different markets kind of react to it is quite crazy.
Yeah, I mean, so so transitioning from Sneak Exchange, and obviously this has been like your passion. I mean, now it's just purely clothing and just more the arts and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you've done collabs with Ricky Rick as well. When he launched, I think when he started getting into the clothing. He did Tope.
Tope. We had that pop up at Sneaker Exchange. That was actually crazy with the green mamba that he had. What was it?
Oh, the SLS.
The SLS.
The SLS. That's when he was just signed to Mobala Noise.
Yeah, bro.
And all the money was rolling in.
That was crazy.
Right?
I remember he pulled up to Sneaker Exchange, SLS.
Yo.
The doors, everything. He's like, yo, we here.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a lot of artists we would work with, especially from, I guess, a Sneaker Exchange perspective, but then also like transitioning that into grade. And I mean, I think that's where a lot of like fun right now for me is being had, in terms of like actually creating with artists, actually like, being able to create and collaborate, Grade is 5 years this year.
Yo,
and
shout out to you, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, before we go into it, this is the like what is the perfect name?
Yeah.
What is the perfect name? Like, if I come up and I'm like, yo, man, I've got this idea. I want to run it, because right now, I'm in the process of dropping another label after, having the switch up as just my own brand as an artist brand. Now I'm looking to, diversify. So it's not just about switch, but it's just like, it's a cultural, it's a lifestyle kind of brand.
100%.
Like, how do you build it from the ground? Like, first of all, you said, yes, started with your community, started with people that will, that you give them access to, and if they believe in you, right, then you sell to them, and then they should be able to sell to other people. How do you find the perfect name? Because I mean, you got like cool names. Lost Property was dope. Bitches Must Know was dope. And now we're at Great Town, right? Which we're gonna speak about, but Great Africa. And I've seen how it's transitioned. I mean, you've been building step by step. You went from doing the loafers. What was the brand? I think it was the clock.
Dakotas.
Dakotas.
Grasshoppers.
The grasshoppers.
Yeah.
And you maneuvered Grade next to a bigger brand.
Mm.
So you it almost looks like, yo, this is the
Yeah.
par.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nah, 100%. I think like the brand positioning for Grade right now is really dope. I think we're really in a space where, we are a local brand. It's actually crazy because all of our product, or like 90% of our product, is still produced locally.
Yeah.
And that's crazy because I think a lot of brands, once they kind of hit to that certain space, they don't really produce locally anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long for us we are going to be able to produce local,
Right.
because as you kind of scale up, there's like different kind of factors that you need to take into consideration, from quality to distribution to, like a lot of the other kind of factories and where you base like already have like distribution plans and stuff in place.
Yeah.
So I think the first kind of 5 years of Grade was really just like building it and trying to see like how we can make a lot of noise within the space by
Yeah.
still like solidifying what we are. Um, and oftentimes like you can't really do that by collaborations, because you need to make sure that your brand is strong enough to kind of stand alone.
Correct.
With Grade, like to be honest, like me, I was just kind of looking at any kind of opportunity and really trying to see, okay, cool, how can this thing actually be scaled up
Sure.
with different opportunities that kind of come up.
Yeah.
So I mean, in the short 5 years, like we've managed to do quite a lot, from like pop-up stores across.
Yo, the money's calling
Ish.
right now, man.
Nah, it's the jock people
Hey.
making sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've managed to create like really cool kind of collaborations, but then also really cool places where we've done our pop-ups.
Yeah.
So we've gone to New York, London,
Yeah.
Dubai, Abu Dhabi,
Shout
like
out, man.
literally across the world, and trying to
Yo.
see how people are reacting to
Yeah.
this. So the reaction has been quite dope. The collaborations that we've done have also been kind of cool, and again, I think it's because of the audience that we speak
Correct.
So yeah, I mean, it's been an amazing journey, and yeah, I think from now we can only go further.
I mean, you also did the collab with Shivas, and I think that was like the sort of the catapult for you to say, well, we can actually go a little bit further. And
Yeah.
obviously from meeting people at different conventions, like in
Yeah.
Dubai, you
Yeah.
could expand to go to like the New Yorks, the Londons,
Yeah.
or the Dubais and all those kind of things to actually
Yeah.
then start producing the product to go out. And I think that's kind of wild. So once again, what is a good name? Like what is a great name that'll get people? Is it always a 2-syllable name, or is it like a 2-worded name? What gets people attracted to a brand?
I mean, I don't really know, like in terms of names, or like I don't really have a select criteria when
Yeah.
it comes to brand names. Like, and they all come so randomly to me. And like grade, for example, kind of pays reference to the first grade, where I believe you taught a lot of fundamentals of life, and then from there you elevate. But you're elevating with your classroom. So as you go
Wow.
up, you're going into
Wow.
like different grades, different levels,
Wow.
and that classroom is your community. So if I always look at grade, I look at grade as like a funnel. I don't necessarily want or see grade as the biggest brand out there, but I see grade as an opportunity for other creatives to shine through. So, for example, a photographer, a stylist, a model, whatever, will come through grade. By them collaborating or working with grade, they will shine stronger within their career, because they've been able to work with grade, or ultimately have this grade kind of cosign within
Yeah.
the space. So, I mean, for me, it's always about being able to put on for the next, and I think that's kind of
Shout out,
very
man.
much in the ethos of grade and what it kind of stands for. And it's about community. I mean, we always say like your dreams are valid, or protect the future. It's kind of like slogans that we play with. And if I look at what kind of protect the future means, it can mean a lot to like different people. But I think to me, it's like looking at the community that you're around, and being able to speak about this community, being able to genuinely be able to be like, okay, cool, you know what? This is the future generation, whether it's of South Africa, whether of Africa, or even of the world. It's like this youth is who we really need to be empowering, because the youth is ultimately who's going to lead us into the future.
Yeah.
So I think it's always just about being able to give those opportunities to the younger kind
Yeah.
of generation, because again, with that, it's like I understand, because a lot of times in different areas or wherever, like in different hoods, it's like you get so frustrated because you know you're talented,
Sure.
whether you're an artist, whether you're a designer, whether you're a singer, whatever. It's like I know I have this talent, but no one wants to give me that chance. No one wants to give me that opportunity. Or how do I get this heard? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so ultimately that leads to depression. That leads to, you know, taking drugs. That leads to like all of this type of stuff that you're gonna be end up like doing because you feel like you don't have another option. So again, within that space, it's like, yo, man, um, like grade is there, and it's a space that like people need to feel included, like
Right.
yo, actually grade is letting us be seen. It's opening up the doors
Yeah.
to like letting us be seen. And how somebody kind of reacts to that, or what that means to someone, is like completely up to that person of
Yeah.
like, yo, cool, we showed you like what is there. Because on my come up, and I think you also, it's like there wasn't really a blueprint, you know. It was
Zero.
like, and I think for me also, like when I was looking at the stuff, it wasn't necessarily local I was looking at. I was
Yeah.
looking at people overseas, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And definitely there were a lot of brands that, you know, came before us, and people that I would definitely like look at, but I think the direction that they took and the direction that I want to take is different, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the guys like Locks and Culture, you know,
Yo.
they created a massive brand, you
Correct.
know. I guess even like the Amma Kip Kips, you
Yeah.
know, even the Galaxy Boys and all of these
Hey.
brands, like these people have really positioned their brands into a strong way to really support a strong local market,
Yeah.
you know. But again, when I look at grade, it's like, yo, this thing is actually international. So people that I'm looking at is the Patas, is the
Yeah.
Supremes,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
of these
Yeah.
kind of global counterparts where I'm like, wait, we can actually push this brand to have a store in London, to have a store
Correct.
in New York, to have a store in Tokyo.
Yo.
And that's ultimately where I want to take it with that. And I'm like, okay, cool. With that, and I guess everything that we do, we're always selling a local story and a local perspective, you know.
Shout out
So
to you, man. Yo.
just got to keep that going.
And I mean, you know, and you've also welcomed, you've opened the doors to Daily Paper. You know, you introduced us to Daily Paper, which, you know, eventually got, they actually eventually went to go make us an African tracksuit under the name. And now they're also, you know, they're sponsoring Vinny as well, you know, and they've sponsored a couple of artists in South Africa. But it was initially just that, you know, those guys from Amsterdam are coming now and they're knocking on your door like, yo, we need to help us distribute this ish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, like, you know, the one thing that's super wild is still is that, you know, just like you were speaking, and just like your ethos, it actually comes from the very beginning, from when you started, because you still carry that through. You know, like I said, I mentioned some of your team back in the day. You've helped all those guys, you know, sort of created a demand and supply sort of business of their own. You
Yeah.
know, like shout out to Biggie, he's still doing his thing.
Yeah.
You know, they've all gone their separate ways, but you guys have created a very big platform, especially from Cape Town. Like, you know, he's talking about, you know, whether it be, you know, saying that, you know you're talented, you're coming from the hood, but you don't know how to maneuver, and you've sort of, you know,
Yeah.
created this platform, so you can go check out Great Africa out in Mall of Africa, right?
Yeah. 100%.
100%. Now, I want to also know, like, you know, what is the level of, you know, the give and take when you're starting a brand? So, you know, I'm gonna seed Switch because he's got a podcast, so he can talk about my brand. He gives a shout out. If you're coming up, like, how much do you seed in order to get the name out?
Um, look, and I think we do, but for me, it's like, man, I don't really care that much about your followers or
Sure.
like what it is that you're pushing, because um, a lot of the times, like I've been working with people that's a lot bigger than you.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, it's like, okay, cool. Like, one, do you genuinely support the vision?
Correct.
You
Yeah.
know, like, do you genuinely see what we're trying to do, and
Mhm.
will you pay that forward to like future kids as well?
Yeah.
You know, so um, and I mean, I think it's very much based off relationships. You know, we don't deal with any like, I guess, PR agency and getting product out on people and all of that type of stuff. So it's very much like, yo, you see our energy, we see your energy. You know, it's very organic. And I mean, a lot of times it's also like, yo, man, if you respect what we're doing, we respect what you're doing, let's find that mutual agreement.
Right.
Yes, some product or whatever, but I mean, that product costs money.
Of
You know,
course. Right.
so
Right.
so in the end, it's like also don't think that you're doing me a favor by rocking this product, because this product also makes you look good.
Correct.
You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? It's like you're rocking a streetwear brand that is locally produced, that is, seen in, I guess, even different publications and different stuff across the world. It's like there's something to this. It actually means something. When you wear it, you feel a part of something.
Correct.
You feel a part of this culture that we're pushing. So yeah, like my DMs are constantly filled with like, yo, dog, I'm this up and coming artist. Please give me product or whatever.
Yeah.
And like in that whole thing, like the thing that really pisses me off the most is like a lot of times these kids will like DM you and like ask you to put them on or whatever, but they're not even following you or following grade.
Right.
So I look at this thing, I'm like, wait, man, you actually just chancing. You just literally sending
Correct.
this to everyone, and it's like, yo, man, like we don't need you. Like this brand is gonna build, it's gonna
With or
build
without you,
organically,
100%, yeah.
over time, and it may take longer. It may, like whatever, but it's like, yo, this is a progress that we're building, and I think that's the most important thing. It's like building relationships over time. It's like, even if somebody's coming into the store, buy product.
Sure.
Like people are always like, yo, Zaid, how can we get a hold of you and da 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 da, and I'm like, yo, man, like, go to the store, buy product, buy out the store if you have to, like, and it's crazy because I remember Ricky always used to speak about this, and it was like, yo, like when he was going into like certain places or like relationships with Gucci and all of that stuff, because remember he got flew out to
Yeah.
Gucci to attend like all of these kind of crazy events, but it's because like, yo, cool, they see what you are and who you are and all of that stuff, but at the same time you going into that store and swiping and going
Exactly. You're also paying
and
back,
making
yeah.
disruption, like for me a lot of times, like when I'm overseas or somewhere, I'll be in a store and I'm like, wait, man, like I need to figure out how to connect with these guys.
Yeah.
I'll go into that store and make sure I buy some stuff.
Right.
That person will ask me, oh, like, okay, cool, that's really like, where you from or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm from South Africa. Oh, crazy, what do you do in South Africa? Oh no, I have a brand. Boom.
Wow.
You're pulling out your Instagram.
Yo.
Oh, this is my brand. This is what I do.
Yo.
Oh, that's crazy, man. Like,
Giving us some bars
know,
here.
like,
Yo.
with that, then it's like, okay, cool. Take my number if there's any opportunities or whatever. Like, it always goes two ways. Sometimes people are wanting to come to South Africa. Other times they're like, wait, that brand is dope. We could actually, want that brand in store. Let me introduce you to our buyers or whatever, And
Yo.
again, that's not asking for a favor. I came into the store, I bought some stuff, I gave energy.
It's an investment right there, man.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's like energy of like, yo, like, wait, like they can actually mess with this dude. They actually see what this dude is doing. He's actually out here hustling and not just asking for a favor. It's like, pushing. So I mean, I
Yo,
think that's like
That's fire, man.
the key in
And I
all
mean,
of the stuff.
you also
It's
did,
relationships.
you also did the Space Jam collab with the movie itself, Space
that
Jam
was
2 that
crazy.
came out. That was wild, man. Shout out to you once again, yo.
Yeah.
And I just think that it's a from selling sneakers, or building that sneaker culture to now, building labels, and creating product. I mean, shout out for those great baseball jackets. Those things are fire. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
once again, you said you see the progress of the quality of like your garments, whatever it is, and when you take pride in what you produce. And sometimes when people are out there, creating brands and stuff, they don't look at the quality. They're just like, oh, we're just gonna sell tees.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then eventually, it stays the same over a long period of time, and they're not actually monitoring what people want or what space they're trying to be in. Because
Yeah.
if you're selling a certain amount of tees, like let's say you start, now you're selling 1,000 tees in like 2-3 months.
Yeah.
You got to start looking at like where can the money go back into, so
Yeah.
that things can sort of expand from there. June 16,
Yeah.
right? We're coming up now to Grey Town.
Yeah.
It's gonna be happening out of Waterfall City. Tickets are available, $150. Get you into the gates. And yo, man, with all the events that I've watched, everything sort of changes.
Yeah.
Sneaker Exchange was more hip hop based, right?
Yeah.
And now we're in the piano season, and we look at Great and we're like, yo,
Yeah.
it's mostly piano artists. Is there a formula to this, or is it just like, yo, man, these are the hot people right now, so why not?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely still a mixture. We have Focalistic. There's still Aries, MT holding it down for
Yeah.
hip hop. Kamo, Rari as well. But then again, like very much a mixture. And I think where we are in our space right now, Piano is definitely something that we definitely have to embrace.
Correct.
I think it's something that globally it's something that is South African, so it's something that we need to really get behind it and support it as much as possible. For me personally, like I've always messed with hip hop. I'm like a hip hop
Yeah,
fan
you
from
ahead.
local hip hop to international hip hop, so I'll always find a way to still incorporate it within a space. If I look at Greytown, it was really just a mashup of artists that are really pushing the bar creatively right now, that really inspire, I think, the future generations, but also speak directly to the youth. So yeah, it's a crazy lineup that we have on the 16th of June. It's a full family kind of event, so it's open to everyone really coming in and enjoying that space. And then I think even just aside from that, there's some crazy merchandise collaborations that we got going on. Some food, really cool like food curated stalls, giveaways, and then like a lot of games and that type of stuff. There's also the crazy Ferris wheel at Water City Park. So like all of that type of stuff will be open, and it's like really just a fun, engaging day for.
Did you study for this, bro?
I didn't, bro, and that's the craziest thing because like
Real
in terms of
hustler mentality,
events,
bro.
In terms of events, the craziest thing is like I learned this thing as I went. Like I learned about
shout out, man. I think
public liability insurance.
Yeah.
I learned about
Yo.
JOC. I learned about all of this type of stuff. Like, oh wait, we need permits. We need this. We need that.
Damn.
And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Just figure it out as you go.
I mean, like a lot of people come into like, you know, they come with a marketing degree or this or, and some
Yeah.
people say like, well, I don't have the resources. I didn't go study for this.
Yeah.
But you took a single idea and just your IP, you know, intellectual property for those who don't know, and you took a dream and just your feeling inside. You took something that you love and,
Yeah.
you know, and you know, we were speaking about 2013. Obviously, it was just a little bit before then. Also, up until now, that's over 10 years in the game. So
Yeah,
even
yeah,
though
yeah.
Great is 5 years old,
Yeah.
you've got the other 7 years
Yeah.
of experience behind Grade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So shout out to you, man, because I think, you know, a lot of people always like, yeah, but how do you get to sit with these big corporates and all that kind of stuff? Because now your lingo's different
Yeah.
to 2013.
Yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean? You're not
100%.
speaking the same anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
And I
for
mean,
sure.
when you did Sneak Exchange out at the Zigzag tent,
Yeah.
that was also just like, yo, look at this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I think it's dope. Like the progression over the years, I think is really dope. And you know, none of the stuff happened overnight. And I think like anyone that knows me personally will kind of know and see that journey.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not something that's, you know, you get these brands coming in like literally started like a year or two ago, and they're opening 40 stores across the country. Boom.
Yo.
You know.
Yo.
And that's not the case with this. You know,
Yeah.
this was really, you know, starting at grade 1, starting at kindergarten, and being able to like really build connections, build this way up. You know, like fail a lot. You know,
Yo.
deal with a lot of failure.
Yo.
Constant. Like,
Yo.
oh shit, did that just really happen to me? Like,
You
know,
lost all
like,
this money. Now you're like,
dog,
damn.
you know, and that happens, you know, and I think from that it's learnings, you know, you really see, okay, cool, you know what did I do that time that I can't do now? I think still like the hardest thing in all of this is managing people and like expectations, bro. Like, yo, that's the craziest thing, because as much as you grow and you progress and you know, you build and you have all of these dreams and your aspirations and all of this type of stuff, and you think you can do it all alone, then it's like, wait, you actually need a team of individuals that is gonna execute on
Strong
these
individuals,
ideas, you know. And
Shout
I
out
mean,
to Matekis.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kaya as well.
Yeah.
These are people that have been under your wing for some
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
And they flourishing on their own in their respective, but they still come back and support you though.
Yeah.
They want to be a part
Nah,
of this
that's
thing,
all the
you know?
homies, like 100%. And I think with that, like, when you're building something, it's like you always have to understand that, wait, you know, you have this vision, you have this thing with inside of you, and you need to trust that as much as possible, because you're gonna get people thinking that they're you.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
And in that spaces, for me, it's like I always let people go out, do their thing, push, go have fun, like within this
Fun
whole
employment,
thing, because
baby.
we're growing, and this thing is a journey, and it's ultimately life. It shouldn't be stressful. Like, it should be able to, you know, progress and see the progression. But in the end of the day, if this is a concept that you came up with and your kind of IP and your ideas, you know how you want this thing to be seen.
And you got to protect
So
it,
you
right?
gotta trust people that are really gonna be there for the best interest of this, you know, because people have their own interests at heart. And, you know, at times I don't even blame them because I'm like, yo, man, I get it. Like, you around all of this type of stuff. But again, like, in any situation, like, if someone, let's just say, for example, someone, I'm at an event or someone and I have a relationship with this artist or someone, and there's someone that's working with me or whatever, and they're next to me, they automatically get like a pass card through
To
like everything
Yeah.
to be with this artist
Yo.
because he's with Zaid, you
Mm,
know?
mm, mm,
So
mm.
how people use that is
Yeah.
very tricky because like now imagine I'm not even there.
And then
This
now the Bruce
person
starts
is like, yo,
communicating.
man. And you trusting this person
Yeah.
because that
Yeah.
person's with Zaid.
Yeah.
But now that person is there pushing their own agendas.
Yo.
You know,
Yo.
that you don't even know anything. So then you ask me, yo, actually, dog, what's going on? And he's like,
Yeah.
oh, wait, you know, you didn't know.
Yo.
So it's like, I mean, I think it's stuff like that you're
Mm.
constantly going through as you're growing because it's like, wait, you're constantly wanting to put more people on and like
Yeah.
build this team.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Yeah.
that's honestly the thing I like stress with the most or like deal with the most, bro.
Well, shout out to you, man. I think, you've done an amazing job, and, that's why I wanted to get you on the show. You can just shed more light because a lot of people want to be a part of these amazing events. They want to be a part of the culture. They just don't know, sort of like, what are the A's, B's, and C's, because there is no blueprint for this unless you
Yeah.
go to the person and ask them.
No,
you know what I mean?
100%.
I mean, we've all had to navigate because, like you're saying, everyone's sort of pushing their own agenda.
Yeah.
But it's like, what do you want out of this? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
100%.
And I think, you've just been very clear as to what you want to build, and everybody knows you for no, that's Zaid. He's from Sneak Exchange, and now he's got Great Africa. Like, it's not being all different about it.
Yeah.
And you're just building something, and you keep it very tight.
Yeah.
You're not changing it all the time.
Yeah.
You got your Cape Town brews, you got your Josie brews,
Yeah.
and you're always just keeping that circle very, very tight. And you've built this thing, like I said, not just over 5 years, but it's over a decade
Yeah.
of all your hard work. I'm going to give you your flowers for that, bro. Like, you really just, and shout out to all the other labels as well doing things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, you've taken it out of, just, bringing product to selling product to, doing events. And I mean, even at those events, you'll be putting on somebody new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is always the case. You got to open up the doors. You got to open up the market
Yeah.
so that when people do perform, and I mean, we've seen some crazy performances. I mean, Ricky's performance that day out at, what's this damn place here in Santon where he did Stick Exchange and everybody
The
was just...
Sands.
The
Yeah, yeah,
Sands,
yeah.
yeah. That was
Yeah.
one of the most memorable performances, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just all these things that are happening, and it happens real quick. And I mean, everyone,
Yeah.
and everyone gives you the big ups, but it's like, also like, yo, we gotta go doing like we gotta go back and do recon.
Yeah.
And it's
fully.
like, was the event a success?
Yeah, fully.
Did we sell enough product?
Yeah.
Because you gotta cover your team because
Yeah.
those people are not gonna. Some people work for free, just
Yeah.
to create relationships.
Yeah.
And some people won't.
Yeah.
Just like you say, if you're gonna come in and work for free, you gotta have
Yeah.
your agenda straight. Don't be
Yeah.
trying to push other things. You know what I mean?
Nah, 100%.
What's what's your top 5 artists right now, and also what's your top 5 brands apart from Grade that you're looking at right now?
What is this? Local brands, international brands?
Local and give us your top 5 local and international together. Homies, I'm seeing the homies designs are out here. He's already pushing for the 16th. Yo, make sure you're out there this weekend. It's gonna be on Friday, June 16th. Of course, it's Youth Day in South Africa, and this is gonna be happening out at Mall of Africa, and it's gonna be the Great Town happening in Waterfall City. Make sure you come through 12 noon to 8 p.m. But yeah, top 5.
Top 5 brands.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like your Supremes are there. Your what else is there? Bape. I always like
Babe is
Bapes.
still, Babe has always been a thing though, right?
Yeah. Bape is really
Um,
pushing.
Babe is there. I mean, the partners are always there. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, like, what do you think about, like these major collabs? Like, I mean, the Travis and Nike collab. Like,
Yeah.
That's probably been
No, I think it's dope. I mean,
it's one of the biggest ones, right?
Yeah, and I mean, again, with it, it's Yeezys, it's all of this type of stuff.
Yo, shout out to Yeezy, man. He got his money back.
Yeah, he came back.
He came back.
But yeah, I mean, I think the collaborations are dope.
Yeah.
Brands always kind of tapping into culture and stuff.
Yeah.
It's always a vibe.
Local?
Local brands. I mean, there's some guys doing really cool stuff. I don't know if you see the Broke guys in Cape Town. They're
Broke
really
Guys.
pushing. Yeah,
I know there's also Broke Guys in Joburg.
Okay.
There's some, well, not Broke Guys, but there's a
Yeah.
Broke label in
Yeah.
Joburg as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
so-
the same guys. and
maybe,
they're
yeah.
From Cape Town.
Yeah, I know Broke Guys. I've seen it
Yeah.
somewhere.
Broke is really pushing. Galaxy Boy is always there.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, they going
Embedded is cool. Kids from PTA, they're really pushing.
blank. Have you seen Blank? Blank is also
Blank.
nice.
I've seen Swank.
Swank, yo, so shout out to
Yeah,
Swank, man. They're
Swank is
also on
also
the vibe.
operating.
Shout out to Water, Mr. Stilo
Yeah,
Margolito.
yeah,
He came
Stilo's
back
pushing.
again.
Stilo's
Yeah.
pushing. There's also Leaf Apparel in
Oh
Cape
yeah,
Town.
I've seen them.
Yeah, yeah, Solid
Yo,
and they're really pushing.
I've seen those guys. They're very,
Yeah,
very cool. They're very
100%.
earth kind of vibe. They're very
Nah, they're
like
amazing. They're
they're on
doing
that
some
Carhartt
crazy
vibe.
things. 100%.
You
They're
know?
pushing. They're pushing. Um,
Also Lazy Slacks,
yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
Lazy Garments, I think it is.
Okay, yeah,
Lazy
yeah, yeah.
Slacks. They're also
Yeah.
dope from Cape Town.
Yeah. But I
Um,
mean, yeah, I mean, I think there's quite a few brands, handful of brands, you know, doing their thing, pushing.
Yeah.
They all have their communities, and for me, it's always love, like seeing everybody doing their thing. And
is it
and
important
pushing.
to look at other brands to see that maybe you're in the right direction, or look more at the international brands because that's sort of the influence that comes from overseas?
So me, I'm just having fun with it and like putting
Yeah.
these crazy ideas in my head to paper.
I feel you.
I obviously see what everyone else is doing, and I think it's dope. I think it's dope
Yeah.
for the community at large. But it's also, you know, I can't really just be focused on them. I gotta be focused on, you know, building stuff from my end. But yeah, I think like definitely like there's really dope, talented brands out there,
Yeah.
and I mean I think people got to support everyone. Like
Yeah.
go out there and actually support local brands. You know, Wanda's also doing really dope stuff. Wanda
Yeah.
La Photo,
Okay.
doing some amazing stuff as well. And then obviously the more high end guys. You know, I
There's
really
Urban
like,
Zulu, Makosa.
yeah, I like the Riches,
The Riches.
Tebby. I think Tebby is probably one of my favorite like local like high end designers.
Yeah.
The storytelling and all of that type of stuff is
Yeah,
is
I wanted
crazy.
to know, like, if you're gonna start a brand, should there be a story? Because sometimes people don't have a story. You know, like I think if you look at some of the brands that do have stories, they really have, or the campaigns that they run with the concepts. You know, you can have different stories running in, but the initial one, does it really start off your brand? Does it make it more sustainable? Does it make it more solid?
I mean, I think it goes back to the why.
Yeah.
You know, why are you starting it? And you know, some people started for representation.
Yeah.
Some people started for whatever. Like if I look at Great, I'm like, wait, this thing needs representation of youth culture,
Yeah.
South African youth
I
culture.
mean, it looks
to the
like
world.
it's gonna be fun, man. It just looks
Yeah.
like it's a fun thing now. From the setup of what you're doing. I know you've been doing a lot of activation with the skateboarders, at the skate parks and stuff like that, and that's obviously gonna be there on the day as well. You know, as you know, it's always part of the culture. So, yo, man, June 16, Great Africa hosting. Great town. We're gonna be there. Well, I'm gonna come out there, and you know we've already done some other activations throughout. But this week, this Friday, it's gonna go down. Shout out to my man Zaid Osman. Shout out to everybody that you put on. Shout out for
man.
just doing you, bro.
Shout out, my G.
Appreciate, man.
Yes,
Make sure you
sir.
follow the homie. Make sure
Yes,
you follow
sir.
the brand. And yo, man, support local. Let's do this thing. But yo,
Yes, sir.
anything else you wanna say?
It's the switch up.
Yeah, man, that's right. And just like that, yo, man, yo, we out.
Shout out.
That's a cut.